So my favorite quote for being a CASA volunteer is the quote that says, "Justice not backed by courage is mere wishing." And I believe truly that that's what being a CASA volunteer is. It's that courage to take on the burden and find out what the child actually went through. It's that courage to, in the dark days of the case, to continue on, to advocate for services for the kids. It's that courage to listen to them and to speak up for them when everyone else in the case is overwhelmed by the sheer number of children in foster care. That's what it means for me to be a CASA volunteer. So my favorite story of courage was for one of my cases. A teenage boy wanted to be adopted, and he wanted to be adopted first because he knew that his parents really couldn't take care of him, but he also knew that he was safest and most loved in his foster home. For him, that was very unusual because most people in the foster care system don't believe that teenage boys want to be adopted. And so it took courage for him to speak to me and say, "I want to be adopted." And then it takes courage as a CASA volunteer to fight against the perceptions, the myths around teenage boys wanting to be adopted, and actually advocate for him to be adopted by this family. And yet, because of the tremendous progress his birth father has made, to actually continue to be in contact with and to visit on a regular basis with his own father as well. So he has the best of both worlds. He's being adopted and he continues to have that family contact he needs and wants. That's what, to me, being a CASA means. When I met Johnny, the department had assumed that he would just be in this home in a guardianship situation, that when he turned 18, he'd be off on his own, and he would have no services, no family support, nothing for his future. He had then told me, this child had then told me that he really wanted to be adopted, but he wanted to remain in contact with his birth family. So I advocated for him at different meetings, at different court dates, all of these different places in the case where I could speak up for him and say, no, this child really wants to be adopted, and he really wants to remain in contact with his family. This can happen. It is not an impossibility. And so where we are at now is he actually is going to be adopted by his foster family, and he stays in contact with his family. The good piece about this case is that not only has he been able to be adopted, but another family member, his biological father, has improved his life, has actually gotten off drugs, off of alcohol, and is actually a healthy individual. And he can continue to have contact with his father while being adopted. And that's the role of a CASA, is speaking up for the child and letting the child have a voice to the court, to the department, to all of the entities involved. And what that means to me is that I was able to be a part of this boy's life so that he can have a future, have a family, have the knowledge that his voice was actually heard by the court. And that takes courage. And that's where I see justice is being involved for this child.